Why do boys and girls learn how to read differently in the classroom? This is the topic of my ISM paper presentation. Why I chose this topic. I am currently a first grade teacher at St. Michael's School, and I wanted to compare my boy and girl students in some way. It would be beneficial for my further lessons in teaching with reading with this research. I chose this topic because I wanted to focus on boys and girls students specifically, and I thought reading would be one of the most important topics I could focus on to help me find more strategies to use in my classroom. I have had almost 2 years of teaching experience, and I wanted to see how those students learned to read differently, specifically the students I taught last year and then the students I'm teaching this year. I wanted to find strategies and tools to use with these students with reading to accommodate all of their needs. How it relates to Education 644. Throughout the semester, we've looked at various groups of people, specifically dealing with gender and the many differences with gender. I wanted to research this in my own classroom, excuse me, because I've always looked for ways to improve with my reading instruction. I used a lot of techniques and strategies last year, and I've even updated and added more strategies with this year, and I've seen much progress with my students in reading so far. I have found many gender differences among my first grade students and how they learn in all subjects, but I wanted to research reading instruction the most. I wanted to add with reading instruction, there's so many different components with reading, including spelling and phonics and writing that also play a huge part in a child's reading progression. Boys and girls learning differences in reading. The many components to reading is a crucial skill for a first grade student. Some of these skills include phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. They all work together in some way to help someone learn how to read. This is why teachers must use a variety of teaching strategies and techniques to reach all of the different learning styles at this young age. Like I said, all of these skills work together to help a child learn how to read, and there's so many different ways that we can teach these to our students, and I would like to talk about now all the research findings that I had. What research showed. The importance of exposing boys to a variety of books at a young age to engage their interest in reading. Most students are motivated to read at a young age, but some students need a variety of books to promote their enthusiasm in reading. I found this interesting that I was looking for the gap in reading and why boys and girls learn to read differently. My research said that it is important to expose boys to a variety of reading books and techniques in the classroom. And also I found that motivation and attitude were related as a key factor to student success in reading. That if students aren't motivated to read or they don't have a positive attitude in their reading, that they're not going to want to improve in their reading. Children also need to have positive experiences with reading in order to grow and succeed academically. I think they need to have positive experiences at school and positive experiences at home, and I will talk about that a little later on. I included this quote in here. It says, statistics from the U.S. Department of Education indicated that reading skills of girls are slightly more advanced than those of boys. And I thought this was important because it adds to the small gap of boys and girls learning differences in reading that I'm going to discuss. Parents at home must also contribute to their child's growth in reading by providing them with a positive learning environment and support. Most of my research had the concern of the lack of motivation among young readers. I mentioned earlier that all my students mostly have a motivation in reading, and all of my research has said that their biggest concern is the lack of motivation to read. So it's important for teachers in school and parents at home to really motivate students to read, and they can provide a positive learning environment for this, and also provide their child or their students with a variety of books that they can read of their interest. Some strategies of answering the how. I split this up to 2 pages of strategies for teachers and also strategies for parents. For teachers, we can practice different forms of reading for various activities. This would include silent reading, whole group reading, partner reading, and reading center activities. In my classroom, I do a variety of whole group and small group instruction with reading. I think it really helps with students learning all together and also having that time to work independently on skills that I've taught and we've practiced, such as silent reading or journal writing or practicing phonics skills. Teachers can also send home books with their students on their reading levels and books of their interest. I've done these with book bags for my students where I choose books on their reading level and I send home 2 or 3 a week, and each week they get a new bag of books. I think that's a great way to provide parents with tools and strategies and materials that they can practice their reading at home. We can differentiate assignments and levels of reading for each student. This can be done in reading centers. And one key tool that I wanted to include in my ISM paper that I currently use in my classroom is called the Daily 5 Reading Center program. It's something all primary teachers should use as part of their reading instruction. These are basically 5 reading center stations: Read to Self, Writing Station, Technology Station for reading, Word Work, which is spelling and phonics activities, and Meet with the Teacher, that is differentiated assignments. Some strategies for parents would be to read with your child at least 30 minutes each night. Parents can also practice spelling words and simple sentences. They can practice their sight words. But mainly we want to have parents motivate their child to love to read, give them lots of choices of topics to read. They can engage in comprehension questions, and they can also provide them with the best positive reading environment each day. Overall, I have found in my research that there was a small gap in the way boys and girls learn to read, according to my research. But overall, there are many factors such as motivation, attitude, positive environment, types of books, and different learning styles that have contributed to my topic. I have found many different strategies and tools teachers and parents can use to fill the gap and meet the needs of all of the young readers.